day 1 in isolation. Can't believe it. Mag Raddy, you look ill. Thanks. I feel alright actually. As you know, yesterday, so you turn up in the hotel, and you go straight to be tested. Then you don't see anyone. You go straight to the room, and then you wait in the room for your results. Unfortunately, everybody else came back negative, and my test came back positive. So now I have to stay here. I'm in a room for 10 days. Tom Crowder, do I feel anything symptom-wise? You know what? I feel like I've got a cold. Got a blocked up nose. Suppose now I know I've got it. Maybe a little bit like small man flu, but nothing major. Bit of a blocked up nose. I had no cough, no temperature, no loss of taste or smell or anything. So, one of them things. But now, the pain kicks in. Forget COVID. 10 days in him. Yeah, monoblog. A lot of people saying false positive. We use a company called Prenetics, who I think have got something like a 98% accuracy rate. So unfortunately, I think I have got it, but I guess it affects everybody in different ways. Do you regret downplaying COVID and saying people just have to boost their immune system? No, not really. I think it's important to boost your immune system. I mean, look, I'm not the healthiest guy in the world. I'm all right, a little bit chubby. Train every now and again, but I feel like I've got a cold. What am I going to do for the next 10 days? Honestly, I don't know. Netflix, Insta Lives. Obviously, we've got the show on Sunday. Gutted I'm not going to be there. I can't believe I'm not going to be there. Cheers, Hal. Dev, what's happening? Dev, how funny is it? I was just messaging you yesterday. Devin Haney's on, saying we just got to get through these shows, stay safe, no corona, blah, 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 and bang, I tested for it yesterday. Will you be doing... No, you know, last night, I'm not in the hotel, I'm at home now, so last night was quite embarrassing, actually. The security had to come to my room, fully dressed in visors, masks, gloves, everything, and I had to wear the same, and escort me out through an entrance back into my car to drive home. Not the best. Yeah, Matt Delabury says, got the virus out of the way now. But are we saying, can you get it again? I don't even think that's confirmed. Scotty James, yeah, I feel all right, mate. I just feel like I got a cold, basically. Very frustrating. Luther, do I feel rough? A little bit, I suppose, but maybe it's because I know I've got it. Jack White, no symptoms going in, just a blocked up nose. Can smell everything, taste everything. Not 14 days, 10 days for me. And by the way, so like, I didn't see anyone yesterday and I got tested in the morning. Does that count as a day? Can you give me that day? Can you at least say I'm on day 2? Is it going to affect the show on Sunday? No, not at all. I didn't see anyone from the show yesterday. Everyone got tested, everyone else. Oh yes, Tom's story, chicken broth. I've already put an order in for that, mate. That's coming up to the room later on today, the chicken broth. Got some vitamin C, got some multivitamins. Do they have to retest the fighters? No, because I wasn't in contact with any fighters. So what you do is when you go to the bubble, you test and then go to your room without seeing anyone. And you're only allowed to mix with people once you test negative. Unfortunately, I didn't test negative. Where do you think you caught it then? Don't know. It's been in my mind. Do you know what? I spent quite a bit of time in London the last week, meetings and stuff like that. Maybe there. Who knows? Listen, who knows? Ray Ford, what's happening, mate? Mo hit, your health is the most important. Yeah, I know, mate. I'll look after myself, don't worry. Lou Manuel, what's happening, mate? Thought on Fury's ratings of the heavyweights. I don't know, I didn't see his ratings. Did anyone test positive from Matchroom? No, everyone's been tested and retested. To be honest, I haven't really been around people that much. I've been in London in meetings and stuff like that, so... Dev, I know, mate, I know. My book is out on October the 29th, Luke. Did the audio version the other day as well. Dizzle Flicks, great on League of Their Own, mate. I loved it. I've loved that show for ages. Charlie, are your missus and kids positive as well? Unfortunately, they have to isolate for 14 days. And I'm going to get the testing company to actually test them as well. So we can at least rule out they're not positive as well. But no one's got any symptoms in the house or anything like that. But unfortunately, that's actually a bigger kick in the nuts, is that the kids have to be off school now for 2 weeks after being off school for whatever it was. Have you been in contact with Trump? No, didn't get it off Don. Did you social distance for meetings? Yes, I've been socially distancing the whole time. Washing my hands, sanitising my hands, everything. I've tried to be as careful as I could be, but it's one of them things. Release Joshua Miller, gloves are off. Do you know what? I need to do that. That's a good point, Hass. I need to get on that. League of Their Own was great, mate. The golf was brilliant. I loved it. Smart people. Great show. Cheers, Fabio. Mate, working from home. The laptop's going to be on all day. Got loads of cards to finalise. Obviously, this Sunday... So don't forget, I wanted to try Sunday boxing, okay? The reason being is because I've always felt like it would work. Maybe it's just me, but when it gets to like 7 o'clock on Sunday, 8 o'clock on Sunday, I don't know, there's not a lot to do. So we are coming on at 7 p.m. The football, Liverpool, will finish at 9 p.m. and you will be able to catch the Savage, Babic, Chantel Cameron for the world title and Joshua Buatsi if you are watching the Liverpool game. If not, then you can watch from 7 p.m. So that's Sunday. We got John Hedges making his debut. We got John Harding Jr. against Linus Adofia for the English middleweight title. Great fight. We got Aqib Fiaz against Kane Baker. Great fight. That's rescheduled from Fight Camp. We got Alan the Savage Babic against Niall Kennedy, the heavyweights. Great fight. We got Chantel Cameron trying to win her first world title, and you got the return of Joshua Buatsi, been out of the ring for over a year. So that's Sunday. And then we go to the Newcastle show, October the 17th, which actually, my date to get out of this place is October the 11th, I think is my last day. So I should be fine for the Newcastle show. And then after that, we've got the Mexico show, the World Championship triple header, Juan Estrada against Cuadras, Chocolatito against Gonzalez, Julio Cesar Martinez against Flores. That's October 23rd in Mexico. I won't be going to that one. And then the week after, we've got and we've got Milan as well now, the week on the 22nd. And then the 31st of October, Del Boy against Usyk. Ellie Scottney, yes, we will announce her pro debut, but she will be on the 17th. Will I Insta live my reaction to the fight? Yeah, I'm going to try and do something. I'm about to record something after this for the press conference, because there's no way I'm not getting any limelight for the press conference. Your impression of Eubank was a classic. Yeah, I know, but I got mugged off for that. They said it sounded like the Yoda. Sammy Eggington, what's happening, mate? Katie Taylor, next fight will be announced, actually, I think, on air on Sunday. Clark Baxter, thoughts on Chisora Usyk? I think Usyk's the favourite, but I don't know. I mean, Del Boy's just got to get into him. Easier said than done, and he's got to try and make him pay, and try and overwhelm him. But speaking to Dave Allen, Usyk is very, very good. Daniel Jacobs against Big Charlo. Listen, for me, right, the fight to make is Andrade against Charlo. I saw Charlo's tweet last night, whatever it was, saying he wants to unify like his brother. There is an easy fight to be made there, Charlo against Andrade. You know, people say that Andrade don't fight these guys. No one wants to fight him, but he's a world champion ready to unify. So Andrade against Charlo, yes please. How's the new signing with Billy Joe? Well, we had an agreement to fight Canelo, and the world closed down, so that was a kick in the nuts. But Billy Joe's fight news is coming very soon. Is there a set date for Pulev Joshua? Yes, it will be December 12th. We're just getting that over the line. Hopefully you get an announcement next week. What did I think of the O'Hara scorecards? I didn't watch the fight, but I think I saw reaction for both people. I think more people felt that Tyrone won. I don't know, maybe. But I think no one really had any arguments either way. Sam Eggington off to the gym. Got to be a new date in there somewhere. Yeah, I'm trying, mate. I'd like to do the Cheeseman fight, if we can, before the end of the year. We'll be very tight, though. Any chance of you being live screen at the press conference? No, but I'm going to do a video, and then we're going to pipe it into the press conference. Why do you think Fury needs a chaperone when doing TV interviews? I don't know. I didn't know he did need a chaperone. Why do you and Tyson Fury not get on? Do you know what? I think we do, actually. I mean, I don't know. If I see Tyson, we get on pretty well. But at the end of the day, it's us v him, isn't it? Thoughts on Loma Lopez? I think it's a very good fight. When's the sit down with Frank planned? Funnily enough, the sit down with Frank was planned for next week. So yeah, this isn't to get out of that meeting, but unfortunately I'm going to have to put it back. But it will happen, don't worry. How long until Coogan bothers you for an isolation interview? Mate, you've missed the boat. We did an interview when I was driving home last night from the hotel. Thanks, Hayley. Thanks, Locks. Cheers, Ad. Is Usyk Chisora a genuine 50-50 fight? No, I don't think so. No, I think Usyk's a favourite in that fight. But I think Chisora can beat him. Josh Kelly news. Yeah, I mean, I want to reschedule the Avanesian fight. That's the fight that was supposed to happen March 31st. So that's the fight I want to try and make. Fury will box Joshua's head clean off. We will see, my friend. We will see. You haven't got your Matchroom Boxing t-shirt yet. They've all been sent out, I believe. Chase it up with the office. Online now, matchroomboxing.com. The hoodies are actually coming next week. What are my thoughts on Logan Paul v Floyd Mayweather? Listen, we all know I did KSI against Logan Paul, but that's because no one knew who was going to win. Floyd against Logan Paul, I don't believe it's even a possibility. Would Dubois v Chisora be a possibility in the Matchroom v Queensberry? I don't know. I think, like I said, the one that I want to make is Hrgovic against Dubois. I think that's a great fight. Ibane Bridges, yes, actually, there's something in a pipeline there. Bob Aaron v Sky. Yeah, I saw his interview. I think he's a bit disappointed that he can't sell any of his fights right now. Listen, it ain't easy. Shen's AJ is looking unbelievable in training. I can't wait to see him back in the ring. Thoughts on Brooks' chances against Crawford? I think it's a very tough fight, but Kell Brook's a great fighter. Dave Allen opponent, good question. Me and Dave are on it non-stop trying to find an opponent. Dave will box on October 31st on the Chisora Usyk card. That's my plan. Campbell Garcia is still on. We're just waiting for a final date. It looks like December for that fight. Thanks, C-Press. Cheers, Jack Khan. What did I make of Josh Taylor's opponent? it wasn't Josh Taylor's fault, because at the end of the day, he was the mandatory challenger. But the problem is with that process is sometimes you get mandatory challengers that don't deserve to be in the ring with those champions, and that was a classic example. It was a terrible mismatch, but it's not Josh Taylor's fault. He had to fight that guy. Cheers, Scotty. K1, you can buy merch at matchroomboxing.com. Courtney Ball rematch. So what's happening there is Shannon Courtney's going to box end of November, early December. She is going to hopefully fight for a title. Rachel Ball is actually going to fight for another title fight. And yeah, they will rematch. Win or lose in those fights, they will rematch. I want to see Yard Boatsi, says Daniel. So do I. Let's get Sunday night out of the way first. What's happening with Ricky Burns? Ricky Burns still wants to fight. So I've been looking at fights for him at 135. There's fights for him at 140, but he really wants to stay at 35. Kid Galahad, Baz, how you doing, mate? You look grand for someone with corona. Well, thank you very much. I feel all right, to be fair. I just feel like I've got a lot of people asking how I'm feeling. Yeah, I said earlier, I feel like I've got a cold. That's about it. Little bit of man flu. Now I've got it, but frightening thing. This is the one thing, right, about COVID is if I hadn't have got tested, I didn't have any corona symptoms. So I would have carried on. I wouldn't have stayed in bed. I wouldn't have isolated or anything like that. So how are the hairy shoulders? Yeah, mate, you know what? In League of Their Own, I'll tell you a funny story about League of Their Own. So, I'm quite a hairy geezer, as you can tell. Every now and then, you need a little trim up on the shoulders, and the chest and stuff like that. Anyone else that's a bit of a hairy geezer will say the same thing. So when I did League of Their Own, they wanted me to take part in this activity, right, to go up a ladder and do this thing. And they were like, can you get changed? So I was like, yeah, no problem. So they gave me a boxing vest and satin shorts and a head guard, and I put it on and had a few sprouters out the top. Freddie Flintoff was like, mate, you need a little bit of a wax up there. I was like, oh, mate, I've been getting loads of grief off my pals about it. Scott Fitzgerald, we're hoping he can get out before the end of the year. There's a few things going on behind the scenes trying to get him back in the ring. What fighter you've met most intimidated you? Probably Mike Tyson. As I said in that League of Their Own clip, Del Boy's kind of stuck it on me a couple of times. He's quite intimidating. Dillian White's quite intimidating when he loses his temper. But I met Mike Tyson in a club in Las Vegas once, and he'd had a few. And, he looked like he could go at any moment, to be fair. When's Boatsi stepping up? I think he's got a good fight on Sunday. Listen, he's been out of the ring for over a year, but if he can come through Sunday, big step up for him, probably on the AJ Pulev card on December 12th. Rematch between Cheeseman and Conway. I think Conway is fighting a final eliminator against Kieran Smith. Good fight. Terry Tibbs impression. Talk to me. I got a Maserati 560. Talk to me. Warrington's next fight, actually speaking to him yesterday with Steve Wood, trying to sort out the next plan. Looking to fight Kanzu in a big fight. What happened to the lad Nikosi Solomon? So Nikosi Solomon was a heavyweight who signed with us in America. He lost his first fight, then he came back and won his next fight, and he actually failed a drugs test after that fight for marijuana. And I don't believe he's boxed since. Galahad update, looking to get Kid Galahad out before the end of the year, and then he has to fight the winner of Warrington's next fight. Chinese heavyweight news signing, Zili Zhang, very good fighter, undefeated, southpaw, big puncher, very good amateur as well. He's ready to go. Dan Carpel, can you do that Terry Tibbs impression again? I need to screen record it. Dan. But Danny Mack, avoiding the Callum Smith questions. I didn't see any. What's happening with Callum Smith? Callum Smith may end up fighting Canelo. Listen, if Canelo boxes this year, he's going to box Callum Smith or Billy Joe Saunders. And if we don't hear soon, then he ain't going to be fighting Billy Joe Saunders. So I believe Callum Smith may get that Canelo fight. If not, then I don't believe Canelo will fight Yildirim. I believe the WBC should order Callum Smith to fight Yildirim for the WBC and WBA, as that was effectively ordered a while ago. Confident of doing Smith-Saunders in 2021. Very confident. Just need a crowd or at least a strong pay-per-view date away from everything else. Do a Donald Trump impression. I don't think I can do that. Any more Matchroom shows to be announced in any new country? So we announced Italy yesterday. Obviously we announced Mexico last week. We announced 2 shows in America today. And obviously the UK, and also we'll be doing our first show around the other side of the world, which will be announced next week as well. Josh Kelly is king. What's next? I want to do the Avanesian fight. Robbie Davis news, we've offered him a couple of fights trying to get the right opponent for him. Get him out this year. Is Crawford going to fight Brook? Yes, I believe so. Are you enjoying the Eddie Hearn memes? Do you know what's happened? This is quite an interesting story, right? So, no context Eddie Hearn. No context Hearn. The guy who runs the Twitter account is a different guy to the guy that runs the Instagram account. And they've fallen out. And I believe that the Instagram account has been taken down because of some kind of violation. I don't know what it is, but basically there's no context Hearn beef going on. So I would like to say, no context, let's find peace and let's let the individual platforms run freely. So let's get no context Hearn back up and running. Yeah, that's it really. Katie Taylor v Cameron if she wins on Sunday. Katie's got a mandatory next, but I think Katie Taylor against Chantel Cameron is a big fight. Oxley, what's happening? Amir Khan up there. I don't know, I haven't spoken to him for a while. John Ryder news. John Ryder's got a final eliminator with the WBA. That's either against Chudinov or against Lemieux. Lemieux is the fight that I want to make for John Ryder. I think it's a great fight. It will put him back in a mandatory position for the world title. Ellie Scottney v Shannon Courtney. They're at the same gym. So unlikely, but you never know. AJ December, Cardiff. No, I believe the Millennium Stadium is still, is it still a hospital? But also there's big lockdowns in Wales. So what I'm trying to do is, this Sunday we're at MK Dons Football Club. They've got an arena there called Marshall Arena. So we've built a bubble up there. And what I want to do from probably the Ritson fight or the Usyk fight is take one central venue and take it for the rest of the year. And just build it as we wish. And hopefully see fans start returning as we gear up for, you know, maybe not Usyk Chisora, but White Povetkin 2 and Joshua against Pulev. Do you think the AJ and Fury fight will definitely happen? 100%. I mean, look, if they both win in December, 100%. Lewis Ritson world title shot 2021. Yes, Lewis Ritson has to get past Miguel Vasquez, and then I think he's ready to fight for the world title. I do think you're going to see Ramirez and Taylor probably unify for the undisputed, but I'd also like to make Lewis Ritson against Regis Prograis. Who's the best 5 heavyweights in the world right now? AJ? Fury? Wilder? Do you know what? I mean, can you say Usyk? Usyk's a heavyweight, but we just don't know. Like, you can't put Usyk in the top 5 because of his win over Chaz Witherspoon. But ability-wise, is he a top 5 heavyweight? Yes. Dillian Whyte and Povetkin. I mean, I think those two, they're the two that are playing it in. Then you got Chisora. Any news on a game? So, I don't know if you saw, I did some stuff with 2K on their new game Mafia. So I'm trying to just weasel into them for a bit of a new boxing game, to be honest. How good is Buatsi? I honestly believe that Buatsi could well be one of the best fighters we've ever had. I believe he's that good. Devin Haney against Gary Russell. Yeah, we tried to make that fight. It wasn't possible. We'll see what happens. Listen, also, I like Warrington against Gary Russell. Or Gary Russell against Devin Haney next year. Don't mind. Anthony Sims Jr., he lost in January, so he'll be out. Billy Joe's news, mate. I hope Billy Joe's fight will be announced next week. Cheers, Niall, mate. Conor Benn will be fighting November 21st on the White Povetkin card. Listen, Ryan Garcia against Devin Haney is a huge fight, but I don't believe Ryan Garcia gets past Luke Campbell. Yes, Scott Mulligan, Ryder Lemieux, that is the fight I want to make. Callum Johnson will probably box this year. He's got that European shot pending, which he should be taking. And then I want to make Callum Johnson against Buatsi. I think it's a great fight. Sort of spring 2021. Is the show going to be cancelled? Which one? It's for Sunday? No, like I said. There's a few people, when I said I've got to leave the bubble, I think they don't realise that when you go into the bubble, you don't mix with anyone initially. So you only do that once you get a negative test. Unfortunately, I didn't get a negative test. Joseph Parker is fighting this year. Big fight, and that'll be announced next week. Beefy, would Fight Island not work? You need to have the cost of running a Fight Island is fine, providing the government or somebody is paying for it, basically. Conor Benn v Congo, yeah, possibly. It's a good fight. Riso and Parry, a lot of people. How do I feel? I feel all right. Got a little bit of a bunged up nose. Feel a little bit, I suppose, man flu, but I feel like I got a cold basically. What's your thoughts on Bob Arum saying Usyk Chisora should not be paid per view? I think Bob's bitter because he can't. At the moment, he's trying to sell Crawford-Brook. He's trying to sell Lomachenko against Lopez, and there just isn't the money. It's nothing personal. They're both great fights, but he was just sort of went off his rocker a little bit. Yes, Dillian Whyte. Cheers, mate. I'll give you a buzz this afternoon. Go through everything. Is Harper Jonas rematch soon? Yeah. So Terry Harper's got to fight Thanders, her mandatory, which is Sauerland's fighter, and then I'd like to do the rematch with Terry Harper. Ask your Saudi friends to host Fight Island. I think with the cases right now, they're not looking to do anything until the beginning of next year. And I think that goes for most of the world, to be honest with you. Rachel Ball news is coming soon. Big news, actually. Brook, nah, come on. Tom Little's about, is he? Tom Little against the Savage, if the Savage can beat Niall Kennedy on Sunday. Who wins, Wilder or White? I really believe Dillian Whyte wins that fight, but first things first, Povetkin, November 21. Am I excited about Johnny Fisher, the Romford Bull? Yes, 100%. No passion, no point. drops on Wednesday. The first episode of my new podcast is Virgil van Dijk, and it's probably one of the best episodes I've done. Thoughts on McGregor Pacquiao? I just don't like it. Listen, you know that I would promote it because it's a massive event, but it ain't a great fight, is it? Let's be honest. Would you be interested in making KSI Jake Paul? Yeah, I'd do that fight. Looking forward to seeing John Hedges. So am I. John Hedges has got a tough fight for his debut, actually. Last minute replacement, southpaw. You know, it's a good fight. Matchroom 2K21 boxing game. Yes, please. Is Caldina a future world champ? Joe's had a little hand operation. I believe Joe Caldina is a fantastic fighter. I believe he will be world champ. Worst thing about being a promoter? Probably like just you can't really switch off because everyone always wants to know what they're doing. So if you come home from work, the phone's ringing all night, you know, normally from the US. This morning, my phone's been ringing non-stop from people want to know what's happening, when they're out. Can this guy fight? Can that guy fight? Who's the opponents, etc. But listen, I love it. So, where will you do the fight if Fury doesn't have a UK boxing licence? I don't believe Fury does have a UK boxing licence. But listen, he can apply for one. Mikey Garcia v Pac-Man. I like that fight. Audley Harrison comeback. No, Audley's the man though. Easiest promoter to work with. I think if you're talking about the bigger promoters, I would say Aaron, to be honest with you. I think, cheers Charlie, I think sometimes Aaron talks a load of shit and he can lose his rag, but he's generally sort of, his ego is sort of constant if there's a deal to be made, whereas other people just won't do a deal because they don't like me. But Bob might not like me, but he'll always keep his mind switched on if the deal's right. So I think of the bigger guys, Aaron, I'll make good fights with the PBC. There's a guy called Louis de Cubas who I deal with on the PBC. I've always made fights very easily with him. Are you going to any of the Tokyo Olympians? There are some great fighters coming through from the GB squad, but I think we see what happens with the Olympics first. Yoka v Dubois, good fight. Yoka looks good. Looks like he can punch. Do these live posts in your Eubank Yoda voice. Yeah, so Queck said that, so I'll just do a little Eubank one, yeah? So I am sitting here with COVID-19, and what you must understand about COVID-19 is it is a warrior. It gets inside you in your immune system. So that was my Eubank, and apparently it sounds like Yoda. You going to let Brooke fight on ESPN? Yeah, of course. I think you liked the Eubank. I don't think you felt like it was Yoda. Right, I've got to shoot now. I've got to do some media. So I enjoyed it. And unfortunately for you, I'm probably going to do one of these every day because I've got nothing else to do for the next 9 days or 10 days. How long was you filming League of Their Own? We did one day filming the golf and then the other day in the studio. I had a great time. Loved it. Loved the crew. Love Red Nat. Love Fred. Brilliant. Rom as well. All right. So don't forget, press conference today from the bubble. I won't be there, but I'm going to do a little something now. And don't forget to watch the show this Sunday. It's a big sporting day on Sky. 2 Premier League. Big live games, then into the boxing as well. So, one thing I will say is, genuinely, hand on heart, thank you for the messages. I've actually received a lot of messages And I was going to pretend that I'm a lot more ill than I am and get a little bit more sympathy. But actually, genuinely, I was actually quite taken back by people wishing me well. Doesn't happen very often. But yeah, listen, fingers crossed over the next couple of days it don't get any worse, and hopefully it's just a little bit of man flu. So cheers all, love you all, and we'll catch up soon. Take care.